The 2015 Rugby World Cup is on the horizon, and the time is now. The USA Eagles proved their worth in 2011, testing some of the greatest teams in the world. Since that time, the Eagles have worked countless hours to be stronger, faster, and better. But if these men hope to play in England in 2015, a chance to play for glory, today it will come down to one simple thing: a victory. Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, the heart of the South, the home of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, and the site of a Rugby World Cup qualifying showdown between the United States and Uruguay. Presented by AIG. Bring on tomorrow. On the pitch at the stadium at Kennesaw State, the Uruguayan Teros and the Eagles of the United States. Glad you could join us for this one. Great showdown today. I'm Bill Seward alongside former U.S. Eagle Brian Hightower. Some history between these two squads going back.
Yeah, a really important match for both of these squads today. And Bill, since 1999, this has been the way for either of these teams to advance to Rugby Mecca, the World Cup. And it's always contentious, and you can throw the world rankings out the window because these two teams come to play. Uruguay always plays tougher at home. The United States has had the best of them in the United States. Somebody is going to go home disappointed today, and what that means is more logistics. One of these teams is going to have to travel around in what's known as the repechage to try to get the last qualification spot. That means instead of getting ready for the World Cup, they're going to have to travel to a place like Namibia or Russia or Hong Kong to get there and win another home and away. The Eagles need to put this one away today.
Yeah, they are meeting for the 14th time. The record in favor of the U.S., 11-1-1. That last one is a tie, and that was last week in Montevideo. The showdown between the two early on, a 9-6 Uruguayan lead right after the anthem between these two, and you'll see them today. And Joaquin Prada, talk about Johnny on the spot. Right place, right time. Pick it up and go.
Well, you know, they just had the run of play at home, and Toby Lestrange has a chance to make that tackle and prevent the try, but that's the kind of day that Uruguay had, and the U.S. needs to show up and put the hits in today.
And a 19-6 lead by Uruguay when Phil Teal with the Yukon Cornelius beard going over.
And Teal just manhandles the person in front of him, gets a little help from Eric Fry. The United States forwards should be able to dominate the Uruguayan pack.
A 19-13 lead for Uruguay in the second half when Berchese with one of his 5 penalty goals in the contest. A 22-13 lead when Samu Manoa.
Just a great move that includes Manoa, and this is what they ask him to do, is get into open space, break some tackles, and score tries.
And then Chris Wiles finding the end of the rainbow.
Well, and that Folau Nua stands up in the tackle, delivers the ball off the hip. That's what they need to do today, have more breaks, more running off the side.
A little trouble later on with the U.S. down a man and forced to play Blaine Scully on the blindside flanker, and away it goes.
Nick Wallace had been sent out of the game with a yellow card at this point. They got nobody on the blind side because Scully had come in from the wing to push in the scrum.
So here's Berchese with a chance to put them ahead and possibly be the game winner, and he pushes it just a little right. Can't convert on that one. 27-all is the way it ends. And that was a tie last week in Montevideo. It cannot be a tie this week, we know.
No, and in case it is a tie, there's extra rugby to play. 20 minutes of extra rugby, 10-minute halves. Then after that, if it's still a tie, you got sudden death, a kickoff. But look, what the United States needs to do is to make sure that it's not even close at the end. They need to put this game away early. They need to put a stamp on this game physically, and I think they're capable of doing that. They need to wake up. They got to bring the aggression today instead of Uruguay.
All right, we're going to step aside. We'll come back and take another look yet again as we get ready for the huge showdown between the United States and Uruguay, the Eagles and Los Teros. You're watching Universal Sports. Atlanta, Georgia getting warmed up for the showdown, the Rugby World Cup qualifier between the United States and Uruguay. In the words of Annie Lennox, here comes the rain again. Nick Gismondi down on the pitch with USA coach Mike Tolkien.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, Coach, listen, I don't have to tell you this is a must-win game for you guys. What are your strategies to coming away with a victory today?
I think we want to come out of the gate quicker than we did down in Uruguay. We made some tactical errors. We weren't on the same page, but a week together has helped that. The guys have got time to understand each other and our style of play. So hopefully we come out better. That's one of the big things.
One of the things that maybe last game was a little bit difficult for you was the front row. What kind of changes are you making there?
Nothing front row in terms of personnel. We thought that Uruguay was doing some things that were a little bit illegal. We've spoken to the ref, we've spoken to our guys, did our homework, and hopefully that gets managed a bit.
You've also made some changes to the midfield. You're bringing in Seamus Kelly. What's your strategy there?
Seamus is in good form. He's in mid-season form. He's a hard runner. He's a straight-ahead runner. So a little bit of directness to his game that we like, and hopefully he'll bring that out today.
Coach, thank you so much. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what Coach Mike Tolkien told me yesterday morning, Bill, is that he wants to try to soften up that Uruguayan midfield, and that means more crash ball. They're going to put Seamus Kelly into some contact early. Big trunk on that guy, and he can run people over.
One of the other changes, that man right there, Louis Stanfill, had the shoulder injury, got it taken care of, got a little time in Montevideo, and getting a start today.
Stanfill, a very experienced player, and trying to get back into his full form. An injury, he just needs to get his fitness back, and today he needs to deliver the wood every time he gets to the ruck.
Also in there, the U.S. mix, Toby Lestrange at fly half, teaming with Mike Petrie. You know, last week, Brian, I thought Berchese and Ormachea did a better job than the U.S. duo.
Yeah, Lestrange needs to manage the game. He needs to be a lot more vocal and commanding. When he's out there, make a decision and go with it.
On the Uruguayan side, well, we talk about Felipe Berchese. There he is. You see 17 points last week, and his running mate, Agustin Ormachea, also with a try. So they did pretty well against the Eagles.
Well, in danger time, anytime you have a penalty inside 50 meters, you put the ball on the tee and give Berchese a swing, and he's going to get 3 points. So the United States needs to be clinical inside their own half and avoid giving away three-point penalties.
For Uruguay, Brian, you know, Alejo Corral, there he is, the 32-year-old, one of the veterans, played against the U.S. in 09, made his debut against Portugal in 05, teamed with Arturo Avalo, the captain, at the hooker spot. There he is. And the diminutive yet stout Oscar Duran. There he is. Those front three, you know, they're undermanned against the U.S. when you look at it on paper, but they did the job in Montevideo.
You heard Mike Tolkien say that maybe they had used some tactics that were borderline legal last week. It doesn't really matter. They got the control of the scrum early, and the United States needs to step up and try not to get dominated like they did last time. Whether you get help from the referee or not, what Phil Teal, the hooker for the United States, told me is that they just need to bring some mad dog with them today, and they need to take control. If they're not getting the calls, they got to sort it out on their own, and that's just physical dominance up front.
Gotta bring it. A trip to London and the 2015 Rugby World Cup in the balance. Who gets it? They'll decide it. Coming up on Universal Sports. And getting ready to bring on the Eagles and Los Teros. Let's take a look at the lineup for Uruguay, Brian. And one of those, kind of a sleeper in there, we haven't really talked about yet, but Geronimo Echeverri had 19 points against the United States back in their 09 meeting.
And their backs, we talked to them yesterday, and they really have a lot of confidence about their ability to match up in the backs. To me, this whole game is going to come down to a matchup between the number 6, 7, and 8 on both sides. Gaminaro, Manya, and Nieto there played way above their fighting weight last week, and submarining tackles, committing themselves, putting their bodies on the line. The USA really needs to step up, and leading the way for the USA needs to be the captain. Todd Clever needs to have the game of the year for him. He, Lavala, Cam Dolan, they're all professional rugby players. They all have a ton of experience, and they need to lead from the front and dominate this game from the side of that scrum.
When push comes to shove, and it will come, Khalifi, Teal, and Fry, those front three, got to be motoring forward. We're going to step aside yet again, but when we come back, ever so close to the kick between the Eagles and the Teros. Atlanta, Georgia, for the Rugby World Cup qualifier between the United States and Uruguay, and how quickly the weather can change. Just moments ago, we were all, I don't know, looking out over bucolic settings, and then the rain came. The Eagle hung in there, and so did Brian Hightower.
A little bit of moisture is not going to hurt the performance at all. The wind, however, at the stadium, we've seen before, Bill, can come and go, and when it comes, it usually lights up those flags pretty strong. Yeah, those things are blowing pretty good, and that could have an effect on the kicking game today. But you know what? It's going to be a little bit greasy because of the rain. These teams should have their focus increased anyways. Shouldn't be that much of a factor, and the reason why their focus should be increased is the opportunity to play for that trophy, the Webb Ellis, in London next year, 2015.
Tonight's winner between the USA and Uruguay qualifies for the 2015 Rugby World Cup. They also qualify in Pool B, so they know they'll be taking on the likes of South Africa, Samoa, Scotland, and the Asia 1 qualifier. 537 days to go before the Rugby World Cup kicks off, but believe me, it'll go by in a blur for whoever makes it in. For who doesn't, well, then you have to go down a bit of a different road to get there.
And just a logistical nightmare.
Set for the anthems first for Uruguay. All right, we got the musical false start, which, you know, on my last concert tour, it happened a couple times. But Uruguay will, first of all, lead off the anthems, and the United States colors being brought out there, too. But expect Los Teros to come out. I got to think they'll be in attendance when you play the anthem.
Absolutely. Trying to organize all of the events happening on the field as well. Bill, what I mentioned earlier, if you don't win today, really, you just get launched into this nightmare of travel and who's going to make the team, and for the U.S., who's going to be able to be released from their contracts in Europe to join to make sure that they get in the World Cup. You could be traveling somewhere inhospitable, you know, in Namibia, Hong Kong, Russia, and, you know, instead of just making the preparations that you need to in order to get ready for the World Cup. And that needs to happen in the spring, so there's a whole lot going on.
Here come the teams, the United States at the top of the step. There's the captain, Todd Clever, and his squad behind him, and on to the pitch they come. The other thing we need to mention on the qualification is if you go that second route and you end up qualifying, it looks like your pool is a bit tougher when you get to London in 2015.
Yeah, you got to play Australia, England, and Wales all in the same pool, and that's a nightmare.
There's Lou Stanfill, a quick shot of him coming back. Got a little time in last week. See how he does on the start today for the Eagles. They've sold most of this stadium out. The fans kind of ducking in and out of the rain. It was letting go a bit earlier. Now it seems okay. Clever walking the line with the troops.
Pretty good stream of people still coming in, and that's great. It'll really inspire the boys on the field to lift their game.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time.
All right, we are set now, I believe, for the anthems. First, Uruguay. We did a little research on this, and the full Uruguayan national anthem takes about 6 minutes. But we're going to get the shorter version right now. And now the anthem for the United States of America.
Remove your hats and sing along as loud as you can to the national anthem of the United States of America.
Set for the kickoff, Uruguay and the USA Eagles for a trip to London in 2015 in the Rugby World Cup. Your referee for the contest there is 33-year-old Greg Garner from Coventry, England. Began officiating back in 2000, made his test debut in 2012 with a showdown between Italy and Tonga. Set to kick off for Uruguay. That is Felipe Berchese. Had the points against the USA, missed a penalty goal and a conversion attempt. And on the kick, taken by Toby Lestrange immediately from inside his 22, pounds it into touch. And the line out, a little further out, will go with Uruguay to toss it in.
United States has a pretty good defensive line out. Take a look at big number 8, Cam Dolan, standing in the front there, and Samu Manoa. And Dolan steals one straight off the top. Great sign for the U.S.
Nice take by the Eagles, and away they go. Clever the first time into contact. Alejandro Nieto leading the charge for Uruguay. Olive Khalifi pounds forward. Petri spins it to Lestrange. Suniula comes back inside. He is repelled. Remember last week as Fry gets the call and rolls forward. Uruguay did a great job of chopping down the lumber, making the low tackle. Wiles pounds one up high. Going up and not making the grab is Ormachea. Levis comes up with it. He's held up. Drilled back. They call maul, and this one isn't mauling forward. It's going back. And the scrum will go to...
that's the U.S. And a great job there by Luke Hume. Might be one of the smallest guys on the field, but really a scrappy player. And he comes in and just holds that ball up in the maul. And once it hits the deck, you don't have to release it. Great job by the U.S. to go up and get that high ball that was kicked by Chris Wiles. Good commitment.
Critical point right here. This is where the push, the shove, whatever you want to call it, the scrummaging here is key for the U.S. if they think they're going to roll up some points on Uruguay today.
Yeah, you're going to see right now Corral versus Fry.
You see the pack weight, and you see that the United States has a substantial advantage in tonnage.
Well, you are not allowed to pull a player down in the front row. And we got to keep a really close eye on this battle in the front here. Corral against Fry, and then working on the other side, Duran is going up against Khalifi. Much more stable.
Ball in the U.S. Cam Dolan getting taken to turf. presented by Clever. Back to Lestrange. High ball coming in, taking a look and making the grab. Nicely done by Vieras, however. Spillage. Uruguay keeps possession.
Great commitment by Seamus Kelly. Comes down and makes the tackle. Kicked away.
First time Luke Hume has it. Luke Hume trying to step between defenders. He's not pinned down, so up he goes and across halfway.
Yeah, Hume, he loves to have a go. It's the way he gets into the game and just has a little dart around a defender. And you see Hume, he's kind of walking a little bit gingerly on that right ankle, and he's had some trouble with his lower legs in the last year.
Another look at Luke coming through, and the tackle being made by Andres RWCQ.
Take that angle. For who? The prop.
Being tended to out there. Looks like Duran is down, and Hume on
Time's off.
one knee.
Yeah, Hume getting some attention from Dr. Mark Kowalski, former Dartmouth player. In fact, played under me. Bill, that's how old I am now.
Okay.
Well done, the Doc.
Yeah.
If Hume goes out, though, do they go back to Tim Maupin?
Yeah, I think that's why Maupin gets a spot on the bench.
Crouch. Bind.
Second scrum, this time the put in by Uruguay. Over 4 minutes in, no score between the two. That collapses. And so the free kick awarded to Uruguay.
Okay, you have to take it behind the
In the referee's estimation, Greg Garner, the U.S., not keeping the structure up.
Well, a sign right here. Uruguay is nodding towards their own scrum. They got a lot of choices. They can quickly tap the ball. They can pump it down.
Once again, here's the first one, as you see.
You know, to me, that looks like Corral is pulling Fry down on that first scrum.
Set. That's me. Reset.
Seemed to cave in on the far side of the field, too. That
Better. You saying anything, David?
Olive Khalifi wearing the 1 for the U.S. away from our vantage point there. There's the 1 for Uruguay, Alejo Corral.
And I think Greg Garner, the referee, is going to ask for some help from his assistant refs on either side to see if they see anything that he can't in the front row engagement and scrum.
Time off.
Greg Garner might be talking to the troops here. Here you go.
Just the front row, please. Just the front row. Just the front row, yeah. Just the front row. I got you, Taddy. I got you, Taddy. Ali. 5 scrums. No ball in. We must get up. We must get stable before the ball comes in. Yes, sir. Okay, otherwise we have to go to whistle. Yep.
So Greg Garner letting them know we can't get anything done here. It's going to be kind of tough. Then it becomes punitive on the law-breaking side.
Coach Tolkien yesterday told me, Bill, that he thought that the referee last week got in his mind that it was the USA that was making mistakes in the scrum and kept awarding penalties to Uruguay.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Ormachea holding it and rolls it in. Pops out, and Uruguay on the move as Prada gets tripped up.
Thank you.
Forward pass.
Yeah, forward pass. And the scrum, if we go back to the scrum, it pretty stable on part of the United States there. Really.
Get another look at the importance here of the get-together. 16 bodies slamming into each other in unison.
Okay, I've got to tap you. I'll give you a thumbs up. Okay. Yeah?
There's Prada, who had the score against the U.S. last week in Uruguay.
Crouch.
U.S. now with the feed. Can they get good stable ball? And they'll try to make, if they can, maybe a slight wheel to the left to get that left shoulder in. Make it harder on those forwards breaking away. And a penalty goes against Uruguay. Good sign for the United States. they finally get a call. And you can see the way that Phil Teal reacted and the front rowers clapping their hands that they thought this was a long time coming.
So the U.S.
Number 1, straight down.
with the free kick. Interesting, he made the call against Corral, who was away from him. But you mentioned getting some help from the assistant referee. The ball goes into touch and a line out to the U.S. inside the 22.
And this should be their wheelhouse. A ball deep down inside their own the Uruguay 22, I should say. And a line out. They got plenty of weapons they can go to take this ball off the top. And that's one of the best ones there, Dolan, but the ball not thrown.
Yeah, mistake there by the U.S. and the turnover to Uruguay. Now, can they get it back in the pocket and pound it out of there? The kick.
No.
Given a ride, and into touch it goes, and quickly tossed back in by Blaine Scully. Scully to Chris Wiles. Wiles had a long distance run last week against Uruguay. Pounding forward the U.S.
They got numbers. They need to use them. Clever with space. Suniula.
Hume got a man outside, and Kelly driving it down close.
Advantage, lost forward.
Lost forward, and the advantage to Uruguay. The U.S. knocking on the door, but no answer on this one the first time down.
Well, great break by the United States. They need to be able to finish, though, and this is where composure comes in. Do a lot of work to get down to that goal line.
Uruguay going to make a change here. In comes Francisco Bulante. Coming in for Andres Villaseca. Wearing number 23 is Bulante. Made his debut against Venezuela in 04. And Villaseca.
Yeah, looks like he's disappointed, like he could have gone on. Well, that's good for the United States. You bring in the backup center, and now part of that strategy that Tolkien talked about yesterday, softening up that Uruguayan midfield, maybe plays into your hands now with the backup center coming in for Villaseca.
And the backup, Volante, a little shorter, a little lighter than the starter, Villaseca. Villaseca, that's Andres. Of course, his brother Santiago wearing the 4 jersey for Uruguay. And we're ready for yet another scrum. About 10 minutes into this one. No score. Bill Seward alongside Brian Hightower. Glad you could join us for this Rugby World Cup qualifier. Winner of this one goes to London to compete in the Cup in 2015. Looked like a pretty balanced scrum there. And Uruguay did manage to get it out of there. And now the U.S. trying to pound back. The use it call, the box kick by Ormachea, taken by Hume. Hume to Wiles.
Having to poke down the blind side, trying to get a numbers advantage on the outside and use the space on the corner. It looks like they got it if they can get ball, but instead they knock it on again.
Playing the advantage, Uruguay coming back the other way. Being held up by the United States at this point. And a look at Olive Khalifi, who is on the turf and being tended to. He went down awkwardly coming through on the knock-on. Hume brings it back. Hume taken by Levis.
All the way.
And the whistle not rolling away. Uruguay and the United States. Petrie tried to go quickly, but not quick enough.
Well, you know, I hate this ruling. It's the spirit of the law, really, that's important here. And Petrie takes the ball about 2 feet away from where the ref wants him to take the ball. He should be able to quickly tap and go, and instead he doesn't.
Olive Khalifi going to try to get up. The Seattle product, here he is going for that pass and then getting his left leg sort of hooked from behind by Matthias Polomecki. Little stretch maybe, little scary moment certainly for him, and he is back and staying in the fray.
Well, maybe a little cold spray will fix that. Big knee on Olive Khalifi. The last scrum we saw, and Khalifi really held his own, and hopefully just a little bit of a tweak and he can go on.
nice gap.
Wiles pounds it to touch the line out.
And Teal really needs to put this ball on the money. He overthrew the last one.
Up it goes. Nice take by Lavala. On the motor is Clever now. Just outside the 22. The spin to Suniula. Kind of flat-footed when he caught that one.
Yeah, I think a double pump there by Petrie. He needs to let that ball go, and Suniula smashes into the defense. Instead, he has to hitch.
Pointing is Petrie, but getting the call is
Sir, you got too much extra stuff away from
Uruguay. Holding on too long, clutching the ball, gotta present it, gotta release it, let it move along. That not the case, so Los Teros.
And Bill, I just heard Lou Stanfill say to the referee, sir, there's too much extra stuff going on away from the ball. And you know, if Uruguay's playing this game and gets under the skin of the United States, it's gonna make for a long day.
How many? How many? 5. So come in and set.
Well, they talked about it last week, and you know what? You keep talking about it, you're going to be playing repertoire.
Come on.
Got to go do something about it.
Uruguay. Come into the line.
Greg Garner trying to get Uruguay a little closer.
Stop. On
the chasm on the line out.
On the line, please.
Trying to sort the numbers out at the line out. It's a long throw, not straight, and Clever picks it up off the back.
Todd on the motor.
Oh,
wow.
big hit.
Hammered up high hard. You know what? They could easily whistle that one up. There wasn't a tackle being made. There was just right up under the chin.
Yeah, number 6 Gaminara gets that one. Not a big guy, 5'10", but still delivers a blow to Clever.
Petrie to Stanfill. Clever being tended to. Cam Dolan. A little wider this time. Almost thought the cross was coming to Suniula, but the U.S. ahead, 14 minutes in and no score.
You notice the referee allowing play to continue around the injured Todd Clever. It's a ref's call. If it's not obstructing the general play, then he allows it to go on. Blaine Scully with the run.
Dolan flings it over the side to Petrie. Inside the 22.
Clever's holding a rib. He took a really good shot from Gaminara.
Numbers on the outside for the U.S., but Uruguay rallying, resetting defensively. Lestrange with Clever behind him. Off to Manoa.
Manoa puts it on the deck. Again, 3 times inside the 22. Uruguay 3 times knocked on. United States needs to do a much better job of protecting that pill.
Hume recovers. Play and catch with the Wiles. Chris Wiles with the left-footed boot.
12!
Taken by Uruguay and coming back the other way. A game of kicks here. To touch it pounds the other way, but straight to, so it's not going to get the distance. The line out will come back to where he kicked it.
Clever still holding that rib. Getting some attention from Dr. Kowalski on the sideline.
David, on you come. David.
15 and a half to go, and a look at when Todd Clever takes the hit from Gaminara. 6 coming through there.
Yeah, it looked like the hit was fair enough.
He was injured for a bit.
That happened, yes, just about here, just on this side of the 10-meter line.
So do you know which US player it was taking it in?
Which player?
Yeah.
Number 7, White.
Number 7, White. Okay. So the tackle's on the 10-meter line. Okay. So I'm off, Jim.
Greg Garner going to have a word
Can you just
here.
have a look at the tackle about where I'm standing? David, is this right? About where I'm standing?
They may be looking at the tackle on Clever.
The USA by Uruguay. See if there's any foul play, please.
So,
yeah, I think it was the player who was injured.
they're going all the way back to the Clever
please.
tackle, I think, and what the assistant referee wants to know on the sideline is, was there foul play in the tackle? And he's asking the TMO to take another look, to go all the way back. This is a few phases back.
Greg Garner taking his time on this one, sorting things out, and
Well, just when you had the ball. Is it against? When you had the ball, so no, for a tackle, a dangerous tackle.
It's Greg Garner just talking to Chris Wiles. Well,
David, is that the one you're talking about? Is that the one you're talking about? This one here.
So, is there a wrap? That looks like a good tackle to me.
Yep.
I don't see any problem. Looked like an attempt to wrap there.
Okay, sure.
On Gaminara.
in retrospect, yes. The way his head snapped back, it looked like, hey, you're just loading it up. But on the replay, and that's the beauty of it.
Okay. Yeah, so unless you tell me anything, I'm just going to play on with that. I was happy with that tackle.
on the tackle.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, you can hit somebody so hard that they fly back fast enough that you can't get your arms around them anyways. And I think that's what Gaminara did to Clever. He just hit him too hard.
Okay, how many lads?
Couldn't wrap him.
So we'll continue with a line out on the far side. Once again, Brian, the United States has not taken advantage of the position when they have it.
Well, and still what we've seen so far, and the United States has had more ball in hand. They've had more line breaks. They've had more possession, but they've not been able to do anything with it.
And the line out, well, it stays in the hands of the U.S.
There's the crash ball we talked about. Soften up those centers. Need a quick ball here from the United States.
Lestrange gives it back inside, and the whistle, a forward pass, the call by referee Garner.
Trying to bring in the wing.
Scully comes flying across from the other side, but the pass just forward of it.
Scully, one of 4 Cal Bears on this starting 15. Scully's made a name for himself in the premiership over in England with Leicester. And just a nose to the grindstone kind of guy, perfect for the Leicester squad. And great work ethic, really kind of branded in the forge of that Cal program with Coach Tom Billups and Jack Clark.
Ball rolls out of there, and Garner raises his arm and awards a penalty to Uruguay. So they will have the kick from that point.
He's accusing Khalifi, I believe, of not pushing straight. And that's a shank.
Oh, if you're gonna shank like that, you got a good.
That was amazing.
Good time to do it.
That's a difficult thing to do. He almost kicked it backwards.
So the line out so far, and I don't think either team has looked especially sharp in the line outs. And you know, it's once again a chance for that platform for you to build off of things, and you need to get it done on these.
Well, in the U.S., causing a lot of problems with the Uruguayan lineout. I think the only bad lineout so far from the U.S. was a overthrow by Phil Teal. They seem to have straightened that out. Dolan goes up and steals another one.
Petrie fends. Manoa running into Berchese. There's a mismatch.
Well, if you can do that all day long, you want to send your lock straight into the number 10, Berchese, and eventually Berchese's going to soften up because he's not going to want to hit Manoa all day.
Nieres not going to find touch, and so coming back the other way is Wiles. Wiles rampaging forward. Suniula throwing somebody away. We'll see if that gets looked at. As the kick comes back to Lestrange off his hands. Picks it up and goes back the other way with Cam Dolan circling him. In the air it comes. High ball. Prado makes the catch. And then given the boot is Gaston Nieres.
Well, this is going to come back. They're going to take another look at. There's an altercation between number 23, Belanti, and Andrew Suniula. Get caught up.
Have you got anything to say? David, no? Okay,
here's another look. Take a look at the 12 in white and the 23 in blue.
So it's Belanti who takes the first swing at Suniula. Suniula swings back. Now you wonder. Well, if that's Belanti, that's an acting job because he didn't get hit.
Another look at this one. We'll see if something happened even before that. Looked like Suniula coming in, maybe catching a bit of him. Not sure how lawful all of that was,
Well,
but then after they start swinging.
Yeah, and it did look like there was some sort of initial contact made, whether it was on purpose or not, by Suniula, and then Belanti takes exception.
Just give us a minute, please. Sorry, Jim, say that again.
Greg Garner checking up top.
Are we talking
What
yellow
kind-
or red here?
What kind of chance, Brian? We got
Okay, all right. Well,
both
he's
these
throwing a
gentlemen.
punch, so it's definitely not a red card, so I'm going to give him a yellow card. Okay, 12.
So
12.
12 comes over. That's Andrew Suniula. He's going to get a yellow card.
Don't forget, he threw a punch. He threw a punch.
Pretty specific as Greg Garner says, you threw a punch, you're getting a yellow card.
Yeah.
Another look, and take a look at the 12 in white.
So
Coming in
Suniula
for
comes to clean.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know if the first one was intentional, but Belanti takes a swing at the back of Suniula's head, and then
not only takes a punch, but connects.
Suniula takes exception, whilst maybe should have grabbed that ball.
It hits just inside, and the line out will go to Uruguay at about 5 meters.
Well, you know, this is exactly the kind of thing that Uruguay does. They get under your skin, they stay in the game, and the United States needs to beware. They've had opportunities, they've squandered every time they've had the ball inside the 22-meter line. They're actually playing pretty good.
The line out at 5 meters away.
All right, gentlemen, looks like we got a substitution here down on the sidelines. It's Nick Wallace going to be coming in, replacing Khalifi.
Let Nia Khalifi's not holding up. Nick Wallace is a really good choice at prop. Covers a lot of field, great with the ball in hand, and see if he can hold up under that Uruguayan front row pressure.
So the United States down a man. Can Uruguay push it across? They are just 2 meters out. Desperation for the U.S. Fighting back across the top, Manoa.
Stanfield goes in for that initial hit. Numbers.
Can they get it out of there, Uruguay, and spin it outside? They would certainly have a chance, but they're thinking.
Great hit by Lavala on the side. Advantage penalty going to Uruguay. They got to do something with it. Referee comes back, blows the whistle. Good goal line defense by the United States.
So they'll come back.
7, offside.
Offside's the call against the United States. I believe Lavala was the offender, but
no, Berkese puts the ball down. Normally he'd go for the 3 points, but instead they want to test the scrum of the United States, and Lou Stanfield gets right in Eric Fry's grill and says, we need this one from you, big man.
Lou Stanfield there with the scrum cap on. You see the captain for Uruguay just in front of him, Arturo Abalo.
And here comes, cold off the bench, Nick Wallace, who perhaps one of the most important scrums of the game, deep inside the American half. Stanfield, you know, he's that leadership role, the experience that he has, and that's maybe why he's out there on the field. His fitness coming back, his shoulder ready to go, and you can just see the way he was tackling and making hits on that goal line that Stanfield wants this one.
So Khalifi out, Wallace in. Alejo Corral, he's part of that front three for Uruguay. Remember a week ago, Brian, Wallace came in, and not long after, a yellow card, a problem with the scrum. Not necessarily Nick, he might have been taking it for the team, but it ended up in an Uruguayan score. Will that be the case today? No score, as you see, between these two. And the U.S. just shoving a little early, so the ball not put in yet. There can be a case of being too fired up, huh?
Yeah, an early shove, and you could tell, you know, Fry was so fired up, he just started backing him up towards the goal line on the Uruguay side. Part of the new scrum progression, they've taken the hit away, that opportunity of a of a team to really get the advantage by hitting early.
Sort of gathering and slamming, and now it's they're bunched up together. The ball rolled in. Now the U.S. needs to push it along. Trying to hold it there is Uruguay.
It's a good.
And once again, a whistle up and saying the scrum taken down.
Well, this is when Clever needs to be a diplomat. He needs to go in and advocate for his front row.
Penalties and a free kick against you. You have to stay in the contest. Okay, you have to be legal. We can't keep going on like this. Okay, otherwise we're going to have to do something.
The first one over there.
Okay. If you just talk to your players, please, that'd be great. Okay. Of course. Yeah. Of course they are.
Well, how much can you convey to your squad based on that?
Scrum.
There is the sin bin and Andrew Suniola having a seat in the chair there. An earlier confrontation with Francesco Belanti.
Stay in the contest.
And
Stay in
Suniola
the contest. Crouch.
has the U.S. Down a man. No score. 5-meter scrum.
There's Fry.
The ball in by.
Well, Fry was definitely in the contest there, and it was Corral who goes to the ground that time, but the referee doesn't call it that way.
Okay, I'll come have a look.
And now they need to have the same type of scrum.
Who said this officiating thing was easy?
Now take a look from that angle. The referee's gone away, and you wonder now, is Corral, the old wily veteran prop, going to try to go to work on Fry again and pull him down?
The ball not put in yet. Now in.
Ball's in. U.S. pushing him.
17.
Wow.
And Nick Wallace, yellow card against Wallace, second time in as many games.
You've got to push straight. Off you go. Leave the field, please.
So Wallace goes to have a seat with Suniola, and now the United States with just 13 men out there against the 15 of Uruguay. Another look at this one. There's Wallace. I gotta tell you.
Okay, right, listen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Based on that, I didn't see it, but a pretty good sell by Oscar Duran wearing the 3 for Uruguay.
Yeah. Okay. I think we need to get a replacement
And
on
in the midst
for the prop.
of all this, there is the rain coming down. And now heading out onto the field is Titi Lamasatelli, the 19-year-old, the youngest cap player in U.S. Eagle history. Wearing on your far side of the scrum with that front row with Phil Teal and Eric Fry against Alejo Corral, Arturo Avalo, and Oscar Duran.
Clever comes off. Now watch, Blaine Scully's going to come in from the right wing and push on the side of the scrum. This is exactly what happened last week when Wallace was sent off with a yellow card. 13 men on the United States.
15 for Uruguay. Almost 22 minutes in. And the whistle once again stopping this. At some point.
Well, the ref might just get frustrated enough to award a penalty try if he keeps having to reset this scrum.
Take the hit. Take the hit. Take the hit. Take the hit.
I think there's some gamesmanship going on in the front row. There always is.
Notice that referee Garner, however, on that one is talking to Los Teros.
Crouch.
The wind is blowing. The rain is starting to fall. And
set.
Here goes another scrum. The ball put in. It's wheeled around to the open side now. And to the outside. Prada yet again across the line for Uruguay. First blood.
Well, Kelly comes up to make the hit on Berchese, and he gets an arm tackle on him, but can't bring him to the ground. There's an automatic overlap outside because there's only 13 guys wearing white jerseys.
Ormachea.
Kelly has to make that hit to stop the ball from going outside. Otherwise, pay dirt for Uruguay.
Joaquin Prada. He had a score last week in Montevideo.
Berchesi's been automatic from inside the 15-meter stripes.
Now, a little different condition than it was last week. However, it does seem as though he's going to have some wind coming from his right to left. And the kick is through.
Well, you know, the United States playing its own worst enemy right now. If you're having trouble in the scrum, the last thing you want to do is have more scrums.
Once again, another look as Ormachea finds Berchesi. A nifty pass to Prada and Joaquin. Putting it down for another try.
Andrew Suniula on his feet, looking to return. Well, you know, indiscipline has cost the United States early. There's still plenty of rugby left to play, but they really need to wrap their heads around this game.
Well, finally, the ball out in open play because we've just gone through, I don't know what, 10 minutes of trying to get a scrum together. Kicked into touch it goes, and just right on the other side of halfway will be a line out for Uruguay. A look at Scott Lavala, who's part of the contingent that repelled Uruguay for a while, but then... All right, the time has been served by Andrew Suniula. So now 14 players for the United States against the 15 of Uruguay on the lineout. Taken by Los Terros. The rain starts to fall again. The United States coming back the other way. Off the foot of Scully. And thrown down is Echeverry.
Good job of Scully to chase his own kick.
Ball squirts free. U.S. comes across. Scully right on that one. Now will the box kick it out of there? No.
Offsides against Lou Stanfill there. He's a little too eager.
Yep.
Garner sees it straight away.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, maybe on the other side, away from the official, you got a chance, but right in front of him, no so. So Berchesi holding the ball and looking toward the touchline, and into the stands it goes.
Split this half right down the middle so far. You got the United States dominating possession in the first 10 to 12 minutes. The ball down inside the Uruguay half, and the Uruguay has now flipped that. In the last 12 minutes, we've seen nothing but Los Terros inside the Eagle half, and the U.S. needs to fight their way back out. They got to start playing ball down inside the Uruguay half of the field.
On the line out, Dolan comes across yet again, and another swipe for the U.S. Teal lowers and moves forward.
Yeah, get the hooker running through the centers. Love to see it out there. Teal having a go.
Lestrange, a line drive.
Great placement of that kick.
Nicely done.
You want to guard against the quick one here, and they'll come back for regular line out. And the United States has been dominating them so far. They've had trouble throwing over the huge outreached arms of Cam Dolan.
Okay, tell me what you see.
Scully having a word, I believe, with Ormachea.
It's a penalty from where the line out's going to be. Have you got the mark? Okay, 5.
Greg Garner looking for
So you cannot
Matthias
play jumper
Polomeke.
when he's in the air. Okay, so penalty against you.
And that
It's over here, Andy. So
apparently will be a penalty going back to when the ball was in the air.
No. It's a penalty. It's play him in the air from a line out. Okay? So penalty, playing a man in the air.
U.S. is arguing about the penalty that they're receiving. They thought it was going against them. They can only assume that because everything else has gone against them so far.
Wiles finds touch.
Well,
and this time it'll be the U.S. line out on.
And the assistant ref doesn't have to move at all because the ball finds the exact same spot.
USA.
Okay, take the line.
All right, guys. Hey, so Todd Clever, when that last substitution happened, came off the field and went right into the locker room. He called for the trainers to come over there with him. He was in there for about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, and now he's coming back onto the field. He's looking good. Looks like he might have some wrapping around his waist, too, and it looks like he's also got some extra padding on around the chest underneath that jersey. But Todd Clever back on the sideline for the U.S.
U.S. with the ball at the 22, spinning and making just a big case for himself. Suniula, Lavala on forward.
Suniula's fueled by a little frustration right now after being sent for those 10 minutes. And this is the USA that we saw in the early part of the half.
Lavala taken down again, just about 8 meters out, picking and going.
Looks like a penalty advantage to the United States here. Got to keep this ball alive.
Just about 5 meters out, spin it to Lestrange. Outside, can't find the handle on that one, and a forward pass.
Scully goes in to touch there, but the referee brings it back for a penalty.
But you must grasp in the tackle. You can't use your shoulder to tackle low. Penalty against you.
A big prop, Durand coming in with a shoulder.
Didn't bind in the tackle.
And the pass errant, but the call bringing it back to where Durand did not bind in the tackle.
Well,
so the U.S. catches a break.
Wonder what they're going to do here.
Hold on. What are you going to do? Penalty, yeah? Penalty. Where's your mark?
They're going to go for it here.
Yep, they go with the tap. And you give it to Manoa.
Ever closer, just about 3 out. Lavala on the doorstep. The United States.
Good push by Fry. They need to stay organized, protect the ball. It's a little bit slick out there. Numbers on that right-hand side. Backs are screaming for the ball, but they go weak.
Manoa. Can he stretch across from there? The U.S. moving vertical. Can they press it down? Held up.
Held up, says the referee. Well, they were clearly across the line. The question is, could they ground it?
Lavala and Blaine Scully
advantage
in there together.
I don't know.
But could not press the ball down,
Penalty.
apparently. That's the call by Greg Garner. Scully seemed to have it last. The humanity rolling over the chalk.
So no more penalties in this area of the pitch. Give me a minute to talk. Yes, I can. Time off.
Another look. Fry moving forward with the gang. Across the line they go. The U.S. celebrating, but
looks like another penalty. Yeah.
Wow, against Uruguay.
Okay. So they're going to go for a line out, which is likely going to be a catch off the top and look for a drive from this line out.
You thinking Roland Mall, are you? Look at the American captain, Todd Clever. Went off earlier with what we thought might have been a rib.
And if Teal ever needed a straight throw, a good one, it needed to be now. And
Dolan's got it.
They set up.
Smuggled back to Fry. Fry in turn to Teal. Through his legs it goes. He goes, hey, I'll re-rack it and try to go forward. He, however, pushed back by Arturo Avala, the captain of Uruguay.
A trash ball on the deck gets picked up and needs to be re-racked by the United States.
Inside 5 meters for the U.S. Down 7-0. 31 minutes in. A ticket to London is what's at stake here for the World Cup in 2015.
Good ball coming out the back. Looks like Uruguay offsides. Referee doesn't see it that way, though.
I'm thinking that's Dolan over the top. He's got to be right on the paint.
Ball's clearly available for Petrie at the back.
Oh, coming through and making a huge hit.
Hesitation, though.
Cortese.
Back now 8 meters away from the goal line.
U.S. still with possession.
That's Manoa. Teal, you can see Teal at the back. Battering ram.
Teal rolls forward. It comes out to Fry. Fry down low. Rolls back and forward. Can he press it?
It looks like Uruguay might have turned the ball over.
Viteros. No, Stanfield forward.
Uruguayans holding on to the ball.
Petri, can they get it wide? Lavala, knocked on. Playing the advantage, the U.S.
Thank you. Not backwards.
3 meters out. Oh, he said knock backwards. The United States ever closer, roll across. They got to be across the line. Is it down? Greg Garner calls timeout. He's going to take a look at this one. And I'm not sure, I don't know. You're going to need one heck of a camera angle to be able to sort this one out.
Am I checking anything over here? No, yeah. Jim? Try yes or no, please.
Good luck
Yeah, try yes or no.
getting an angle on that. Are we going to see clear grounding of the ball?
Okay. Okay, send him on then, please.
Take a look here. You see Dolan with the ball. In comes Stanfill with the headgear on, cleaning out that ruck. There is Suniula.
Still with bodies in front of him, including Matthias Palomeke, the 5.
Great job there by Seamus Kelly. And
from another angle. And you can see how.
so watch Suniula here, and then the clean out by Seamus Kelly comes now. Is there a clear grounding?
And can you say that's
Straight, being replaced.
one motion
You're being replaced.
when Suniula
Yeah,
goes
thank you.
down?
I'm back on.
Okay, brilliant.
And our men back on as well.
Okay, brilliant.
I know you're given a few advantages. How many more times do they get? And then there's
Sorry, hold on. Every right, just a minute. Okay, Jim, carry on, please. Okay, so no try.
No try whistled up by Greg Garner, and so
Well, in the
a
United
5-meter scrum.
U.S. has full strength again, 15 players. They have a full complement in their scrum, and that's what they're going to need to win this ball.
Weber's back out there, as Nick noted, maybe
Hold the push.
an additional T-shirt or two to pad things up.
And if there was ever a time that the U.S. needed this scrum to come right, this is the one.
33 minutes in, Uruguay with a 7-0 lead.
Play on, balls away.
Clean ball.
Dolan
Dolan.
needs to get rid of that one.
Play on.
Down he goes about 10 meters out. Back inside comes the U.S. Petri sort of moving them around, getting them positioned, and then spins it, comes back.
Inside option there to Manoa.
Big man, big target, the U.S. Heading forward was
Wiles. They want to play between the 15-meter stripes to make Uruguay play that blind side and keep them honest.
Lou Stanfill with a charge forward.
Wallace submarine. Really no wrap on that tackle, and it's a yellow card.
Dangerous tackle.
Dangerous tackle, and that's the captain, Avalo. Not even an attempt to wrap up. He just basically takes
He's a
the
missile.
bulldozer.
Yeah, he's a missile coming in, and no wrap.
Shot.
And so at this point, down 7-0, they're pointing toward the post.
No attempt to wrap on that tackle. It's dangerous. Just the shoulder in.
Nick Wallace going over the top. Kind of dangerous, too, for Arturo Avalo. You get a knee to the head down there like that, you're going to miss some consonants.
U.S. has to come away with points here, and so they're going to rack one up for Chris Wiles. Left-footed kicker. Should be automatic from here. Disappointing, though, in the sense that now you're still going to be 4 points down to Uruguay if the kick goes over. And spending a lot of time inside this, this green zone.
And let's face it, for Uruguay, it's got to embolden them. It's got to make them feel like, hey, you know what? We're withstanding this this charge by the U.S. And look at that. We came out of there only giving away 3 points. We still have the lead. Avalo in the sin bin and shall be for a 10-minute stretch, as you see the yellow above the Uruguayan part of the score there in the upper left corner. And so now the United States will receive this kick, down 4, as Berchese holding it up, giving it a boot. Lavala camps under it. Finds Wiles. The left footer to Mieres. Mieres pops it to himself, runs into a man. It goes instead to Petrie. Petrie to Todd Clever. Clever running pretty decently in front of some American fandom there. Suniola dragged down. Mario Sigario, the 18, into the game for Uruguay.
Ball gets hung up in the wind there to Echeverry for Uruguay.
Up high, the hit by Stanfill, and a whistle.
Well, he's going to say Stanfill didn't wrap. I wonder if he's going to reach into his pocket for Stanfill now.
It could be the 14 on 14.
He's going to the TMO, and he's going to wonder if it's foul play here. You know, I mentioned earlier, Bill, sometimes you hit somebody so hard, you're bringing those arms around. Take a look here. From the left, here comes Lavala. I think he's trying to wrap.
It's kind of hard.
It's kind of hard to wrap him and Manoa at the same time.
Yeah, you're looking for a bind on that, and it's probably not going to come. Geronimo Echeverry was the ball carrier. 19 points against the U.S. Back in 2009. Plays professionally in Italy for Valpolicella.
Okay, thanks.
And word from upstairs to Greg Garner. He's saying thank you, but I don't see the reach.
Warming up for the U.S., Kyle Sumshin.
Okay, so, Jim, from what I'm seeing, it's going to be a penalty because he's made no attempt to bind, and he's hit him on the ball, so it's not a high tackle. Is that? Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay. Right, where is he?
So,
right,
this is kickable range for Berchese.
Captain.
Garner going to sort this one out.
Okay, so it's going to be a penalty because it's a no-arms tackle. It's a no-arms tackle, so you've got... I know you tried, but...
I hit him so hard, he just went before the wrap.
So it's a penalty. Okay, listen, we've had 2 yellow cards for foul play. Okay, we've had a couple of incidents where we've had to go to the TMO. Take 1 minute. We cannot have any more foul play in this game. Okay? All right, so talk to your players, please. All right, that's it.
You remind me.
Okay. Okay, talk to your players, please. Talk to your players.
Well, Stanfill kind of repeating what I said to the referee. Look, I hit him so hard that I couldn't wrap him.
Yeah, it's done. Okay. We good? We good?
You know, Garner.
Okay. Okay.
I just think in those situations when you've been busted, you just take it and move
Jim,
along. If you want to bring something up
penalty?
later on at a quieter moment, I think the official might be more receptive to it. So, and yes, Lou was coming across and it looked like there was a genuine attempt on his right arm coming around, but instead it's a penalty, and so
a lot of wind up there. That ball gets up high, and that wind is going to blow the ball to Berchese's left.
He made one further than this last week, and we'll see if the conditions are to his liking today from about 43 meters. Got the distance and got the accuracy too. So make it 10-3 Uruguay.
A couple minutes left in this first half. U.S. dug themselves a bit of a hole last week in Montevideo.
And on the restart, Wiles, who has the only points for the U.S.
Great takeout in the air by Scully.
And the quick line out with the boot by Berchese. Clever. Off his shoulder. Can he keep it in? Nope.
That's too bad, because the U.S. would have had the ball inside the Uruguayan half. Normally sure-handed Clever, though. Still wincing a little bit. You get the sense that Clever's still not right from that big hit that he took earlier from Gaminara.
5.
The line out. Torabachea getting ready to toss it in, but needed to get the ball toweled off.
No, not yet, not yet, not yet.
10-3 Uruguay. Manoa joins the line out. Palomeke. The ball called. And it looks to be going back the other way.
U.S.
charged down.
Hold on. It's not offside. It's a knock-on.
The knock-on and the advantage was to the U.S., so the scrum will go to the U.S.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, you know, something that I'm hearing from the captain, Todd Clever, and his interactions with the referee, it concerned me a little bit, Bill. It almost seems like they have a little bit of antagonism between the two. Clever obviously not getting what he wants from the referee, but there is some referee management that needs to take place on the field, and sometimes you just need to be contrite and you need to nod your head more. And Clever's, it's just kind of not his personality when things go badly. You know, we've seen this before in previous games, and you wonder maybe if Clever needs to become more of a referee manager.
Hold on.
Carlos Pombo, the 19, in for Uruguay. He's at the hooker spot. As Arturo Avalo still serving that penalty, and the ball's being just inhaled by Uruguay. Not the best of scrum efforts by the United States on that one.
And this is going to be another three-pointer for Berchese if things have gone according to the way he's kicked in the last couple of weeks.
So Berchese last week missed a conversion, also missed a penalty goal attempt, and
that's it, half time.
He did hit 5 of them, though, and in a 27-all game, he stepped up big. Today, he's had the conversion, and a few minutes ago gave them a 10-3 lead on one from further distance than this, about 9 or 10 meters back.
Referee Garner just indicating that this is going to be the last play of the half. So the United States is going to go into the locker room at halftime with a deficit. Will it be 7 or will it be 10?
This is all being done with Uruguay down a man, playing 14 against 15. Once again, money for Berchese. And at the intermission, it is Uruguay with a 13-3 lead. A reminder, last week, the United States able to mount a rally in the second half and end up in a 27-all tie, but they have got some work down 10 to a fired-up group of Los Teros.
Definitely need a little more discipline on the second half.
We'll see if that happens. Back to talk about the first half and more after this timeout. At the half, it is Uruguay with a 13-3 lead on the United States in a World Cup qualifier for the 2015 showdown in London. The highlights of the first half presented by AIG. Bring on tomorrow. Well, about 22 minutes in or so, the first score coming from Joaquin Prado, wearing the 13, had the first try for Uruguay last week, and this after some extensive scrummaging between the two.
And also a 2-man deficit for the United States. Scully was on the side of the scrum at the time, so they were overmanned.
And Arturo Avalo there making the ankle tackle without trying to wrap it all. That was a penalty, and Wiles converted to make it 7-3. Looked like the U.S. might be back into it as Etcheverry coming back, and he's going to get hit by Lou Stanfill, and the ref says you didn't bind. Yeah, there was an attempt, but you didn't do it. So Bertese nails one from about 43, 44 meters and gave Uruguay a 10-3 lead. He'd add another one to make it 13-3, and that's where you are at the intermission. All right, if you're Pablo Lemoyne, you're feeling pretty decent about weathering a first-half storm, but you've seen it back in Montevideo. A better job by the U.S. in the second half.
Well, this is exactly where Uruguay wants to be. They've gotten them into a chippy game where there's lots of emotion, and instead the United States has lost its cool.
13-3 at the half. Uruguay with the lead. We'll be back to take a look at more. Get ready for that second half showdown on Universal Sports.
Well, back in Atlanta, it is windy and it's picking up. Should make for a very interesting second half, and the U.S. is going to need to get some momentum going their way because they're struggling in this one. Down to Uruguay, 13-3. Hi, everybody. We're down at the pitch right now in between the half gear, and well, Todd Clever, he's had a rough game. He took a shot early on in that first half, went into the locker room. He's got some extra padding going up top, but if there is one guy on this team that's a leader and is tough, it's Todd Clever. But he also finds some time for relaxation. He is the face of this Eagles team, and we caught up with him in San Diego in his hometown.
Go, 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 go.
Tell me a little bit about the aspirations for the Rugby World Cup. I don't want to get too ahead of it. Obviously, you guys are qualifying. We don't want to jinx anything, but you feel like USA Rugby is kind of on the rise. I feel like there's kind of a bit of a groundswell behind you guys a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guys are signing more contracts. Guys are playing full time, and you know, USA Rugby's giving us a bit more time with the domestic guys of having camps, fitness camps, skill camps. And so, I mean, that's what we've lacked in the past is, time together. And it's great to have that opportunity where guys are going to be fitter, stronger, and know each other and know the pattern, more so we can, execute things on the game. So, like I said, we have to qualify first. And once that's done, there's no turning back. And it's all looking forward to 2015 in England.
Time together is important, but time resting is also important, and there is not much of a better setting than your hometown here, buddy. I mean, tell me about downtime, because it's pretty nice as I see it. A little bit of surfing, a little bit of relaxation.
I work real hard through the year, and you want to reward yourself. And my house is a block off the beach, and walk down here or drive down here and go for a dip in the water. Do that daily after a workout or whatnot. And I mean, this is my paradise, and I'm happy and fortunate to be able to do it.
Thank you so much. Way to catch some waves out there and have a good season. We will, of course, be catching up with you the whole time.
Good to see you, Nick. We'll see you soon.
Well, Todd Clever's going to need to catch a big wave in the second half to get the U.S. back into this one. They trail right now 13-3. We'll be back with more after this.
At the half in Atlanta, Georgia, Uruguay with a 13-3 advantage on the United States. The winner of this one secures a trip to London and a spot in the Rugby World Cup in 2015. And the backers of Los Teros at this point feeling good with a 10-point advantage as the Eagles of the United States and the Teros of Uruguay stepping back out onto the pitch. Bill Seward alongside Brian Hightower. And, I hate to say Groundhog Day on the Eagles side, but it looks very similar to what happened. And at the intermission, if you're coaching this squad, if I have to tell you what needs to be done, are we at a bad point?
Well, once again, things have gone the Uruguayans' way, and it starts up front. But the United States hasn't done themselves any favors. And You know, one of the things that happens sometimes when with a game of this much consequence is guys try harder, but they don't try smarter. And that's what the United States needs to do, is they really need to start putting some phases together. Maybe people are trying to go a little bit too far. They still haven't figured out how to get the ball from the 5-meter line to the goal line yet without going through 30 pick and jam phases, and they need to sort that out. Figure out a way to get across the line, because I don't think kicks are going to do it today. They're going to have to score tries.
And Wiles on the second half kick, making the grab via Seca. Flying by was Blaine Scully, trying to lay a hand in there, but Uruguay with first possession. The box kick by Ormachea. Takes a bounce, comes into the hands of Diego Magno. Uruguay, the punch shot by Echeverry to the right corner. Wiles goes across and going to have a line out to Uruguay on the near side.
Well, 3 for 3 if you're Uruguay. You get the restart kick. You get your
numbers?
Box kick back,
6.
and then
Sure.
Unfortunate for the United States.
6.
They touch the ball before it goes out of bounds.
You're half back.
Line out.
All right, when we left you, Arturo Avalo,
So set the
the hooker,
yes,
wearing
thank you.
the 2, was in the sin bin.
You can't come in till the ball's thrown.
And Carlos Pombo is tossing it out there. So the captain not back into the game, but the U.S. with the tape. And Nick Wallace.
Well, if there's anything that's been going right for the United States today, it's the line out.
Stand side.
Box kick by Petrie. Hume on the chase.
Mieres. Ormachea spins it to Palomeke. Back the other side. Stanfield.
Stanfield's got him held up. That's a maul. That's coming back the United States way if Stanfield can hold on to it.
9.
Uruguay finds its way to the ground, though.
12.
Sigario, the 18 for Uruguay. Taken to turf. And then flip back the other way to Pombo. Carlos gets his headgear ripped off.
Release.
And the ball comes out. But still working from the side, and now Suniula gets into the fray. Looks like the turnover goes to the U.S. The scrum here will be put in by the United States. Could be interesting. First one we've seen in a while, and the last one, or the last ones that we saw, there were several of them in a row.
Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Yes, it does.
Thank you, sir.
Greg Garner giving Phil Teal some instruction. There's some yes sirs off the top of this first half, and the platform needs to be set here from the United States. They need a good scrum, quick ball out to avoid getting pressurized by that front row of Uruguay.
Fry, Teal, and Wallace on the U.S. side, where it looks to be Sigario, Pombo, and Rodolfo de Mula also in there. So really the veterans are out of there on the Uruguayan side. Corral, Avalo, and Duran, those were the 3 starters coming into this one. The United States with a 249-pound advantage in the pack. And getting shoved back, and the ball comes out to Cam Dolan, to Todd Clever. Clever down to the 22. Petrie, hesitation, then to Scully. Scully gets stood up just inside the 22. The other side to Stanfield. Stanfield rolling forward. Petrie flying it out to Lestrange. Wiles comes back inside. Just a step away from making it some distance. Phil Teal cannonballs it in there. And the U.S., Lavala and Fry. Some hard yards there by
They just got to keep going through phases here and protect this ball.
Hold on to the ball. Suniula dragged down about 15 meters out.
Watch the Uruguayans come tickle that offside line. They're doing it every time.
Moving forward, the U.S.
Good drive by Stanfill.
Lestrange.
Lestrange, no help. He's got no support.
Ball squirts, taken by Uruguay. And Geronimo Echeverri with it. He's brought down.
Well, it's not the match you want. You don't want the ball in the fly half's hands isolated with a bunch of forwards wrapped around him. That's exactly what happens to Lestrange there. He gets isolated.
And squaring off. Petri and I believe Nieto, the 8, either the 8 or the 18, Mario Sigario. And another look at the turnover.
So
out on an island there is Lestrange.
Lestrange, and he's trying to hand the ball to Lavala, and Lavala doesn't see it. He's going in for the strip, and just not the guy you want grinding away. Either that or you need Lestrange to get to the ground and just set up a ruck.
And you see the 9s with each other. Ormachea for Uruguay, Petri for the United States. All in good fun, gentlemen. Except at this point, Uruguay holding a 13-3 lead 45 minutes into the contest.
And you got to come away with points if you're the U.S. All the work that you do to get down here means nothing if you can't come away with at least a penalty kick.
Good roll by Ormachea.
And the feed is poor. So
right when I say good roll. Did it go a little sideways there? I read your putt wrongly.
Well, no matter how it comes to the United States, they'll take it. The feeding call.
By the way, the captain, Arturo Avalo, back in for Uruguay.
He steps in.
So let's see what the U.S.
Hello, everyone.
Tries to do here.
A big fan of the rugby.
Stepping out is Franco Lamana wearing the 20. Coming in for a beleaguered Mario Sigario, I believe. Or is that Palameke? Yes. The 5, Matthias Palameke.
So technically right now, everybody on Uruguay is offsides. They're already across the line. Go to the big man, Manoa.
Manoa, and another shoestring tackle made by Avalo, who is not getting up. I had spoken of that before. When you go low, there's a price to be paid at times. The U.S. punching it 5 meters out. Scully.
Clever's hurting.
Wallace. Manoa up over the top. Rolling forward is it one motion. Right. And a try for the USA.
And that's Eric Fry. It looked like dotted that one down. Ball comes clean out the back. We'll have to take a look. Maybe it was Clever.
Heading over the top was Manoa, getting him real close. And then the final touch to the masterpiece. There's Manoa across the top. Rolling, presents it out.
Yeah, that's Fry.
Fry right at the paint and putting it down.
Good job. Clever with the hurt rib and all. Comes for the clean out there. Gets the bodies away. Fry gets the ball. Just burrows in. Finds the line. And the U.S. really had to have that right then and right there, Bill. Huge try for the United States.
So 47 minutes in, Eric Fry, the 4-time Cal All-American. His 3 brothers playing collegiate rugby. Dad, football at Davis, rugby in Europe, and the conversion is good. Ho ho! I believe we have one here, sir.
Back within, and couldn't come a moment too soon for this Eagle team. Need I remind you, watching at home, everything on the line to play for here. A shot at the Rugby World Cup for the winner.
You win this one, you go to London 2015. Guaranteed a spot. You're in Pool B. You'll be taking on the likes of South Africa, Samoa, Scotland, and the Asia 1 qualifier. If not, it becomes once again a roll of the dice for you. And It sounds like it's a long way away, 537 days to go, but it's not, as you prepare, and the United States awaiting the kick here as Berchese lifts it skyward.
Lestrange pumps it down about to the midfield stripe. Check that. It's going to be the 10-meter line of the United States.
And so the line out on the far side for
How many?
Uruguay. Taken by Los Teros.
Good drive by the U.S. Uruguay reorganizes, though.
The Maul gaining some steam for a moment, and then the U.S. putting the brakes on it. Smuggled again to Gaminara, and a whistle. So a penalty awarded to Uruguay from that spot. Gaminara plays for the Old Boys Club. Made his debut against Romania in 2010. Phil Teal in disbelief.
6, side entry.
And accepts the explanation by referee Greg Garner.
Yeah,
side entry. And a good look at Franco Lamana, Carrasco Polo Club player.
Okay, never mind.
Romania in 2012, and Uruguay's pointing at the post, and that means the foot of Felipe Berchese. Already with 2 of these. And this one, well within his range. 49 minutes in to give them a 6-point lead. Pushes it right.
Yeah, that's the wind.
The wind takes it off to Luke Hume. Hume as Wiles hammers it into touch.
It's good work between Wiles and Hume.
Line out for Uruguay.
And so not getting a ton of distance on that one. Maybe tough to make the assessment of the kick with the wind crossing you like that.
Yeah, it's pretty stiff breeze. You can see the post shaking. Just takes a hold of that kick, and
Gaminara.
Clever comes up, big hit.
U.S. reorganizes. Uruguay recycles. Prada had a try in the first half, but stoutly driven back there by the United States. Vieras. That's a wishful pass from Berchese.
Straight into the teeth of that midfield. You get Seamus Kelly and Suniola at the same time.
Wallace is there to make the hit for the U.S. And the turnover goes to the Eagles.
Hume on the outside. He overruns Lavala, though.
It comes back inside, bounces up, and the turnover, the knock-on, goes to Uruguay.
Yeah, it's knock on.
Yeah, Hume was roaring up there with Lavala. If Scott could have seen him, might have had something, but instead, the turnover at the 50-minute mark.
A great support line there by Hume. He comes on a blistering run. Lavala can't get the ball out of his hands quick enough, though.
Then in live play? No.
Teal on the ground.
You didn't call anything, did you? You didn't say anything in live play. Oh, you called it, yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
So a couple of teams feeling it after playing each other 2 weekends in a row.
I just didn't hear you. I didn't hear your voice. I didn't see your lips move. That's all. So knock on by
Phil
what?
Teal
Yeah.
being tended to. The Michigan product.
I didn't see you go for your button. I didn't see your lips move, and I heard your voice.
Most recently with Life University, back in 09, made his Eagles debut against Uruguay. And Phil is coming back to the fold.
On Todd, listen for him. So hold on. Yes, sir. So just in the scrums, you know, like I said,
he had one of the tries for the U.S. at Montevideo last week.
I cannot penalise you. Okay? Same message against you on that scrum there. If you don't do anything to penalise, I can't penalise you.
Stay straight.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Stay straight.
Okay, time on.
If we're to stay straight, Scott just watch him coming in a bit. It hasn't been as bad.
Of course I will. Knock on.
So Teal manages to get a little word in there. He says, look, we'll stay straight, but watch Uruguay coming in crooked, if you don't mind, sir.
You were mentioning the loose head aiming at the opposition's hooker. Can certainly make things go awry in the scrum.
You know, some savviness on the part of that Uruguayan front row. Of course, their head coach, Pablo Lemoyne, long time loose head prop for these Teros. Scrum looks good there. There you go, and the United States finally gets the benefit of a penalty in the scrum. Who'd have thunk it, Bill?
A bit of feeding was done yet again, and so that's the second time Uruguay's been called for that. On the roll not being correctly done by Ormachea, as you hear Greg Garner calling it. And another look.
Feed the ball straight there, and Ormachea. Okay. If you angle the ball towards your own hooker, there it goes. Hooker doesn't even have to hook it. It rolls straight into the second row.
Yeah, no strike necessary. Comes right to you.
Well, you're putting it in like that. You're doing that.
Ormachea having a discussion now with Garner.
No. You've got to put it in like that. Okay?
This is what straight looks like. It doesn't matter whether you're in Uruguay or in the United States.
So there's no need to put it in crooked.
This will tie it up. Huge kick for Chris Wiles.
Coming up on 53 minutes, and Wiles had the first 3 points for the USA. Not going to make it. And
it just didn't look very well struck there by Wiles. Looked like it was going to be a little short anyways, but just drifts outside that left post. The United States leaves some points on the table.
So a drop kick coming from Uruguay. Prada spins around and rejoins the group.
Drop kick coming. Another opportunity for the U.S. to keep the ball inside the half of Uruguay.
Wiles comes across to make the grab and heads forward. Taken down. Spun by Petrie to Clever. Can he get it down?
Clever does a good job fighting the ball to the ground there instead of getting held up in the maul. Lestrange, a little poke to the corner.
Right into the hands of Echeverry, who called Mark. And Todd Clever feeling the day's work right about now.
And we saw Clever took a shot about 15 minutes into the first half, and I'm not sure he's been right ever since, although can't question his commitment.
Clever slow to go. Meanwhile, Echeverry hits touch just on the other side of the midway. There is Felipe Berchese. He's got a couple of the penalty goals by Uruguay.
Hold on, stop.
And enough to have a 13-10 lead as Greg Garner slows him down.
And if you're Uruguay, you got to be looking at Samu Manoa, who's lined up in the midfield for the U.S. Can't get clean ball though, so it goes to Clever.
And now Manoa has to come in at the ruck. Lestrange dragged down. Uruguay's doing a pretty good job of keeping this one right there. The U.S.
offside.
And an offsides call. So a penalty awarded to the U.S.
Well, Wiles should be able to boot this ball deep down into the Uruguayan half and get a line out going. Got to get this one inside that 22.
Had trouble last time, keeps the trajectory a little lower and still outside the 22, but the line out to the U.S.
Call it close enough.
I think it's hard. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't. You want to get that territory, but you want to make sure that it gets over that line.
Yeah, you got to keep the ball first for sure.
So the line out. One of the things I think the U.S. has had decent success, and maybe more so on the defensive end of it, with Cam Dolan going up and making quite a few swipes in the first half. Let's see if they can do this clean.
Clever goes up.
Nice. Lestrange quickly to Suniolo. Some big time hits.
Well, he's running straight back into the flankers of Uruguay. like to see that ball maybe one more channel out. Tolkien was going to use Seamus Kelly.
Back to Clever it goes, right at the 22.
Open play on.
Petrie, Stanfill.
Stanfill just runs somebody over.
Berchese went down. In between and moving forward, Seamus Kelly. Stanfill turns sideways, offers himself up.
Ball's got to be quick now.
Dolan, Cam Dolan. You get that 6'6" frame stretched out. Petrie calls his own number. He's taken down by Sigario. And the ball appears to be in Uruguayan possession.
Well, we saw the same thing last time the U.S. had the ball down here. We saw Lestrange get the ball taken away from him in contact. And again, Petrie tries to go on his own, gets the ball stripped as well. It shouldn't be in his hands. He needs to find a runner.
Stanfill goes for the charge down, couldn't get it. Oh, not into touch. Wiles comes back the other way. Fullback on fullback. Wiles wins that one.
That's got to be a penalty there. You can't put your foot on somebody, and that's...
He looked like he was climbing a ladder, Francisco Belanti. Teal to Wallace. And 1 against 2 does not work in the Eagles' favor.
Let it go, one on the...
Off the feet, over the top come the U.S. and the penalty awarded to Uruguay. Let's see if there'll be something earlier where Francisco Belanti comes in with his left foot, right foot actually, and looked like he's climbing a ladder.
For what purpose?
And the kick goes into touch, and so the line out will go to Uruguay. Just about 40 meters out.
Coach Tolkien last week talking about Mike Petrie and Toby Lestrange, their decision making, their leadership, and how they're working together. And so far some good from them, but also some interesting decisions maybe they'd like to have over again. Wallace gets back up, a little bit shaken up, but he'll rejoin
6.
That line out.
Three-time All-American at St. Mary's. Stepping back on the line out at the 5-meter line. Uruguay somehow gets the line out.
They overthrow it, but they still manage to hold on to it.
Holding up.
Uruguay holding on too long. And so the penalty awarded to the United States. A busy afternoon for Greg Garner.
20 minutes and some change. U.S. will take the ball, try to pump it down deep into Los Taros territory once again. And when they're down here, Bill, I'm saying it right now, they need to get points out of this next set.
And so the line out will come for the USA on the far side, and the captain, Todd Clever. This cap number 56 for him, 36 times as captain of the USA. And Phil Teal getting ready for the line out as the sun comes out.
I think the crowd's giving the sun a big ovation. Out of the game comes Joaquin Prada.
Step up, please.
Prada with the try today and also one last week. And
Uruguay, out the gap.
He goes out, and coming in is Alejo Duran, number 22.
And Leandro Levas.
Uruguay with the take.
Well, that's one the U.S. had to have.
The new man, Duran.
Hands away now, Rock!
Mikey, numbers!
Uruguay with a three-point advantage and possession. The kick by Berchese. Far side, Wiles.
Keep coming.
Back to Mieres as the fullbacks with the exchange, and Mieres from inside his 22 kicks that one out, and it'll
good result
not get a whole lot of distance, and the United States will have the line out.
And that's some of that experience of Chris Wiles. You know, he knew if he pumped that ball inside the 22 that Gaston Miras would have no choice but to kick it into touch, and they'd get the line out. And that's exactly what happens. And this throw by Phil Teal needs to be on the money. Been a little bit erratic today. This one's good. Lavala goes way up.
Just under 20 minutes to go. Shalom Suniula into the contest, and
Seamus Kelly comes on the switch.
Yeah, Kelly, a sliding move forward there. Teal.
Advantage penalty.
Penalty advantage coming to the United States.
Mark's there. Let him go.
Let it go. Petrie goes. Mike Petrie. Mike Petrie going to cross over for the USA.
Well, I questioned his pick and jam in the last set when they were down inside the 5-meter line and he got held up, but this time he goes quickly. Petrie sees the daylight. He knows that the Uruguayan defense is on the back foot. Quickly taps it, and it is nothing but daylight, and they needed that one right then and there. Great job by Mike Petrie, and that's the veteran leadership that I think Mike Tolkin's been looking for out of Petrie for the last couple of games.
You talked about Petrie last time, getting his lunch money taken when he came down. This time, he buys dinner for everybody, taking it out of the ruck here with the advantage. He taps, he goes. The Uruguayans aren't back 10, and so Mike, with some separation, everybody looks at him in a blue jersey like it's kryptonite, and Superman flies over.
Well, everybody's caught inside that 10-meter space, and nobody retreats, and so nobody's allowed to touch Mike Petrie except for that sweeper. And it looked like it was Belanti, the last man who could have touched Petrie, but he gives him a little inside step. Wiles converts. Now the United States, finally, 17-13, 18 minutes left in this game, and they need to keep the foot on the gas pedal. And Bill, we've been covering these guys for years, and we've seen sometimes in the past where they'll score a try and then they'll kind of dip and take the heat off, and they need to actually accelerate right now. They need to take any doubt away about the result of this game.
And they have possession on the kick, and Suniula kicks it into touch, and the line out on the far side. There is Mike Petrie. I'm going to say that one kind of rivals the World Cup score against Italy a few years back. They needed one here, and he delivered.
A huge try in a crucial moment of the game. This thing is far from over. 17 minutes left in this contest.
6 can't come in the
Uruguay crossing over, and
well, he's been telling Gaminara the entire game that he cannot come in and out of the line out.
Tackle!
And so the penalty awarded to the U.S. and
stand still then. 7.
Suniula the kick. Mieres jumps up high, misses, and it bounces past Bulante in the U.S.
Oh, an unkind bounce. Seamus Kelly was right there to receive that ball. Ball goes high instead of low, and so...
Can they hold him up here? The maul called. Can Uruguay get it out of there? The whistle. You brought it in. You're responsible for bringing it out. The scrum goes to the USA.
Seamus Kelly was Johnny on the spot there. Huge up and under there by Shalom Suniula, and it takes a kind bounce for the United States. Kelly goes down to clean it up and instead gets the maul called. And the United States seems to have some momentum. Crowd is behind him.
Phil Teal on the U.S. side along with Wallace and Fry. The U.S. trying to hold on, trying to add on to a 17-13 advantage. Dolan charging forward.
Great job, support there, cleaning up Andrew Suniula.
No, he's okay. He's happy with that.
Ball squirts out yet again, and the turnover to Uruguay. Charged down by the USA. The whistle, the knock-on, and the scrum will go to Uruguay.
Knock on.
There is definitely a little bit of off-the-ball action going on. They know what's at stake here.
It is a long day, and also also playing them last week. Familiarity is breeding contempt.
And, you know, honestly, nothing pretty about this game so far, Bill. It's been a grind. Both teams have been giving away some careless penalties.
Crouch. Hold on.
Can the U.S. come up with a scrum when they need one?
Just about 11 meters out. Duran looking to roll it in. It's wheeled around. The U.S. comes up with it. Suniula to Suniula. Brother.
Blindside. Seamus Kelly runs over one. Gets into two. Still with the leg drive.
Lavala helping him out. Petrie. A shoe comes flying out by Boot.
Great job by Dolan over the top there to secure that ball. Stanfield.
Forward goes Stanfield.
Numbers on the outside.
If they can get it out of there, and they do, it flies out to Suniula. Shalom hit back inside. Suniula.
What a moment for Shalom Suniula. What a journey Shalom Suniula has been on, Bill. We've seen Shalom Suniula most of all wearing a sevens jersey for the U.S. He fell out of favor with the coaching staff at the sevens.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
He wants to play in a World Cup. He put his hand up and said, I can play scrum half in 15s at this level, and this is what he brings.
Petrie spins it to him. He takes a look at his brother, and man, just bust a move on Berchese. Stepping off that left, and Felipe, he went one way, and Shalom the other.
Thank you.
Suniula, a great moment. So much commitment. He moved his entire family from Australia, where he was living just a year ago, to be a full-time rugby player at Chula Vista. Now he's following the Rugby World Cup, dreaming with a performance like that. You got the attention of Mike Tolkien.
Just about 13 minutes to go.
And again,
the United States with a 24-13 advantage.
What you want to see from the Eagles once more is do not let off the accelerator. Stay on it.
Dolan up high for the take. Rolling forward, the USA. Spun back to Suniula. Deep he goes to Wiles. Bounding one back to Mieres.
Good precision by Wiles.
Mieres kick. Straight up. He camps under. Makes the grab.
Does a great job of recollecting his own kick.
And Uruguay got one going here.
That's a very dangerous. Uruguay's not going to go away.
Ripped down.
Kelly on the break. He's got Hume outside.
Luke. Off to Suniula, the other brother. Can he score? Andrew. Do they press it down?
And
Another try. Oh.
The floodgates have opened in Atlanta.
In the matter of about 6 minutes, the United States, 3 daggers.
Phil Teal's face tells the story. The grit. Great job by Suniula. We've seen some Suniulas in the last couple minutes. Berchese's not going to get what he wants from the referee.
Another look at this one.
Starts off with Seamus Kelly. Great pass out to Hume. And Hume does a really nice job of keeping this ball alive. In the tackle, Suniula on the support line.
Suniula able to hold on and in one rollover and put it down. I guess that's your one motion.
He's allowed that motion. He rolls over. And a try for both Suniula brothers. And isn't it redemption for Andrew Suniula, who was sent from the field in the first half for a bit of a discretion. Fry comes off the field. Stanfield comes off the field. They've done their work.
kick pushed a little bit to the right side, and so it will remain at 29-13, the USA.
Tini Lamosatelli, the youngest player in history to wear an Eagles jersey on the field for the U.S. at prop.
Hold on. No, sorry. Time off.
And the U.S.
Sorry. Okay, send him on then.
I believe with
okay, 12.
26 unanswered points here in the second half to take a 29-13 lead.
Suniola takes a bow. Folau Nua comes in as a replacement.
Okay, when you're ready.
Andrew coming to the sideline. Nua in on the restart. Dolan goes down. And the whistle.
Okay.
Suarez de Lima in for Villaseca on the Uruguayan side.
So let me tell you. So the guys. Hold on, please.
Greg Garner wants some space. He's going to talk about this catch.
So for me, the guy's come underneath him. He's just got his timing wrong, and he's come down on top of his back. So it's not a yellow card. It's only a penalty. Did you get a number for the guy?
It is big guy.
The big guy.
The big guy.
Just a penalty.
The big one. Looks like Suarez de Lima.
Okay.
And what they're talking about, Bill, is Dolan goes up for that kickoff and he catches it in the air, and you're not allowed to take a player out until his feet have touched the ground.
So that's why it's just a penalty. Okay.
If it was intentional, Suarez de Lima would be out of the game as quickly as he's substituted in the game. Instead, he says it was inadvertent, the timing was wrong. Instead, it's just a penalty. Everything going the way of the Eagles right now. 9 minutes left in this contest, and there's got to be a sigh of relief. You can almost feel the weight emptying from the shoulders of this team.
And the line out to the U.S. There is Eric Fry.
You got to give credit to Fry. He's gotten a lot of criticism over the years for his ability to scrum. He's a converted lock who put on a bunch of weight and hit the gym and is just a grinder.
Come back, knock on.
And he's learned a lot.
Now the line out, not the best one the U.S. had seen, and with the knock on, the scrum will go to Uruguay.
Last couple, big scrum.
Ty Tuiasamoa also in at lock. Tolkien's emptied his bench. Cam Dolan goes away.
Kyle Sumption in. The BYUer.
Time off.
And you see just about 8 minutes to go if the United States holds on to this one. And you got to think they have a pretty good chance. They punch a ticket to London and the 2015 Rugby World Cup.
Okay, come on the outside. Crouch. Bind. Set. Yeah, thanks.
Penalty awarded to Uruguay. The United States pulling down and racing forward is De Freitas.
Tackle now. Seven lost.
Duran spins at the right side. Wallace is there with help. And the U.S. getting almost over it. Firing back again. Good job by Lamosatelli.
Tuiasamoa, look at all the tacklers coming up. That's the kind of aggression that Tolkien was talking about.
Time to fire. Haven't heard much from Levis today, but Leandro wearing the 14 for Uruguay. De Freitas. Picked up by Sumption and others. And that one.
20 release.
Not releasing. And
frustration now for Uruguay.
Stop.
You know, you just mentioned Levis. Levis.
Back you go. Back you go.
Getting in the face of Samu Manoa.
Back you go.
Pretty sure that's not a fight he wants to
20,
pick.
On paper, it doesn't look good.
You're not going to get inside that reach.
Bertese kicks to touch. Coming up on 74 minutes in, 29-13. The U.S. with second half tries by Fry, Petrie, Shalom Suniula, and Andrew Suniula, and holding a 16-point lead.
Hold on.
Tom Kulikan checking in. Made his debut in Montevideo.
Step out, lads.
Born in Cleveland, went to Sydney University. And Phil Teal getting a much-deserved rest as that one swatted away on the line-out. Uruguay, can they get one here? Under 6 minutes to go for them.
Good drive. You know, you can notice that influence of their coach, Pablo Lemoyne. It's a very forward-dominated team. But they've lost the ball. Suniula.
Don't go forward. 20-17.
Sends him scurrying, and going back and making the grab is Echeverry. Geronimo runs into a couple of Eagles.
Seamus Kelly fights through it on the counter ruck.
Oh, man. Wallace said hello. The whistle. Duran was trying to get it out of there.
Likely going to see Wiles tee one up here. You know, and it's almost like this team is playing unencumbered, a little bit more freedom in their game right now, and they've kind of taken the pressure off themselves, and as a result, we've seen some great rugby.
There you go, shot.
You know, it's possible with the pressure on them and all the things that they were trying to do to begin with within the game plan, that it was really stifling their ability to play.
Kelly,
find on the arm and you come like that, okay?
Possibly a cramp over there. The one sock down, one sock up. That's a signal. He's back up. Wiles tees it up. And a chance from just under 40 meters to give the U.S. a 32-13 lead. Wiles had the first scoring to make it a 7-3 game in the first half. And Chris draws a bead on this one. Got the distance, and it's through. Slatomatic. And a 32-13 USA lead. So once again, at the intermission, Uruguay with a 13-3 lead. And then the U.S. with 29 unanswered points in the second half. The brothers Suniula both crossing over along with Fry and Petrie. And on the restart. Oh, taken by Samu Manoa.
Looking for someone to offload to, can't find anyone. That would have been a jailbreak.
Tui Samoa takes it back in there. Petrie gives it the box. Echeverry underneath with the dummy. Clever makes the grab. Ormachea slips on the turf and goes down, and Uruguay spins it far side. De Freitas right by the touchline. And that one into the hands of Petrie. Rains it pours. Nua on the outside, got a few folks in tow, puts it off his toe and into touch as Hume was racing up on it.
Again, the U.S. just playing with a little more creativity. Maybe should have kept that one.
Okay. 13. 13.
Just 2 minutes away from sealing the deal.
Tim Maupin. Maupin comes in.
You got one too many. You got one too many. One too many.
Good look at Lou Stanfield. Played some great minutes. He's talking to Eric Fry. Both of them really dedicated.
Kelly also comes out. And the U.S. with a chance to do some more damage.
Numbers to the outside, still a quick recycle. Petrie sees the overlap, sees the numbers.
I'm saying if he gets it, he's going blind. I'm just telling you.
Clever's got it.
Clever, couple meters out. Ball comes out, Uruguay picks up, and De Freitas now being held up and pushed back. Oh, that might have been in from the side. You can't go for that one. Let's see.
Do it again. What are you going to do that?
Time off. Yes, time off.
Time is off, and going to take a look is Greg Garner.
Because the ball's on the line. But listen. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Okay, Jim. Okay, I want you to check that. I want you to check whether the Uruguay player grounded the ball on the line before the American player came and jumped on it.
I'm going to say he did.
So,
I was surprised to see it there. I'm sure Mike Petrie was too.
Hold on, let me finish. Once the ball's on the line, there's no offside.
Okay, but my player has control of the ball, so when he gets to the line, it's ball for us. It's an late try. He has control of the ball. He goes back into the line. It's no try.
That's why we're checking.
Okay.
That's why we're checking. So we're checking.
So take a look again at the ball's on the ground.
De Freitas going to bring it out of there. It's going to go through a bit of
so if
work
if
here, and then it comes back to Freitas.
No try. Yeah, that's what I'm checking.
And now it comes back and is right there on the line, and that's...
Well, what he's looking at is, did anybody control that ball while it was on the line? If not, it's possible the U.S. comes out of this with a try.
Been a long day for Todd Clever, but it looks like it's going to be a very good one finishing up. Another look as the ball comes back.
Yeah, you're right. They knocked on, didn't they?
Toward the try line.
Yeah, White lost the ball here, didn't they? So it's, yeah.
All right, so ball comes out. It looks like a Uruguayan hand. And there goes Kulikin.
Yeah, okay, Jim. For me, it's no try. White lost the ball forward from the maul play here. Yeah, okay, so no try. So it was lost forward here. So scrum.
Now, we forgot about the earlier pages of the script.
You guys lost it forward.
There was a knockout.
Yeah, so not on the line. Okay.
Kulikin says, darn it, thought I had my first one.
Three racks, set the scrum.
Crouch.
Uruguay.
Bind.
To roll it in.
Set.
Alejo Duran. In it goes, and then out it comes.
Behind the Uruguayan foot. Into the 80th minute of this game.
And the U.S. just stamping it up here.
And the U.S. is going to the World Cup in 2015.
The ball kicked into touch. Just over 30 seconds remaining on the clock. We'll see where Greg Garner has it.
Yeah, last play.
Last play, last play.
There you go.
With the line out, going to the U.S. and the win prevailing.
Last play.
32-13.
It's discipline.
You know, and I think here, U.S. players, Lavala talking to him, saying, look, the game's about to end. We need to keep our discipline. Let's not get into anything stupid.
Taken by Manoa, but not a straight toss, and that is it. The whistle comes up, and the United States has qualified for the 2015 Rugby World Cup. They did not do it the easy way. Uruguay took a 7-0 lead, had a 13-3 advantage at the intermission. And then 29 unanswered points in the second half, and the USA is into the World Cup against South Africa, Samoa, Scotland, and an Asian qualifier in Pool B. Back with more on Universal Sports. 32-13, the United States posting a victory over Uruguay, thus securing a spot in the 2015 Rugby World Cup. And how did they get there? Well, let's take a look. The highlights presented by AIG. Bring on tomorrow. A 13-3 lead for Uruguay at the half, but then the U.S. Somehow, someway, Eric Fry in there, squeezing that one down. And then the U.S. with a 13-10 deficit at that point. And then Mike Petrie, here's the big charge.
Petrie needed to have a moment. He steps up huge with this quick tap, darts down the field, and scores a 7-pointer.
Brothers Suniula, Shalom, stepping his way off the left, and then Andrew Suniula gonna get one from Kelly here. Actually, Luke Hume did a great job keeping it alive, and Andrew Suniula capping it off. 32-13 the final. Nick has the captain, Todd Clever.
All right, Todd, you are probably one of the toughest guys I know, and I know you're hurting right now, but that win has to mean a lot to you.
Yeah, I wish I could say I'm not feeling any pain, but I'd be lying if I did that. Yeah, I got hit pretty good early on, and the doctor said it's either a small fracture in the rib, but it wasn't anything in my lungs, so they said as long as you can play through pain, that's it, go out there.
It's a huge motivator for your team. What did you say to the guys in the second half? Because you guys came out and laid down 29 unanswered points.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the leaders of the group just led by example. You know, we took our front football, and you know, we had some bad bounces in the first game, bad bounces in the first half, but it all came together. We knew it was going to happen, but it took longer than expected. But I'm really proud of our guys.
Todd, congratulations on qualifying for the 2015 World Cup, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
Well done, USA, and the celebrants in Atlanta, Georgia, for this Rugby World Cup qualifier, and 32-13 the final. Final thoughts on this one?
They needed to have it. I've been there before. It just feels like the monkey's off your back, and now they can celebrate and start getting ready for the 2015 World Cup. That's a huge step.
Saying hello to South Africa, Samoa, Scotland, and others. 32-13, the U.S. wins it. For Brian Hightower and the entire crew, I'm Bill Seward. Thanks for joining us for Rugby here on Universal Sports.